Hello, this is Arthur again, and today I have a 2010 Mercedes E63 AMG. This car is 102,000 miles on it. It is in very nice condition. This owner just purchased this car a couple of weeks ago, and he is a big Mercedes enthusiast and he brings all of his Mercedes here. And first thing he usually does is he wants to lower them and make sure they look good, and this one is no exception. Let me show you around the car real quick, and I'll show you what parts I have to lower this car, and then we'll go ahead with the lowering process. All right. Okay, this is a 2010 model. It's white with black interior. It does have the very nice 19-inch wheels on it. It's in very nice condition. Interior is like new, pretty much. Doesn't really have any issues inside. The seats still look good. The headliner looks good. Everything looks very, very nice. Smells fresh. It does have a pretty good, pretty big wheel gap in the back. These cars have air right in the back and coil springs in the front. So for whatever reason the back sits a little bit higher, so we're gonna readjust it to make it look nice and low. I really like these cars. I'm a big fan of this engine. I think it sounds great and it has nice power, especially for one of these or a C-Class. For anything bigger than this, I think it's a little bit underpowered, but for a E-Class, CLS, C-Class, it works perfectly. All right. So I have springs for the front. They are H&R springs. This is the part number for this car. As you can see, it's only 2 springs, as the rear is air. I'm going to replace these. And as well as I have lowering links for the rear. It comes in this nice box. You can see 2 links. He also wants to change the side markers to original looking orange color instead of this kind of white ones. They're kind of smoked white. He doesn't like the look, so we're going with the original look. I also have a different grille. I believe this is from the non-AMG 212 model, which has actually a slight difference. First of all, it has one more bar that goes in the middle compared to the E63 one. But more importantly, these tabs over here are silver versus black on the E63, and I think this one does look a little bit classier. They're kind of S600. S600 tends to have grills like this, so it kind of works out. So I don't know, we're gonna change it and we'll see how it looks. I like this one too. We'll see how it is. All right, let's begin. Okay, so that's the grill removed. I did pop this panel off that goes on top, and then there's one 10mm, and then you press these tabs on the bottom and this just slides off. Very easy to remove grill. Okay, now let's see if I need to transport anything from this old one to the new one. I'm going to remove this piece and move it onto the new grill. This is just popped in from here. If I use a screwdriver, I can pop this out. There you go. Okay, now this is ready to go back on. Before I install the new grill, I'm going to give it a little wipe over here. Now I got my 10mm backing. And make sure you put this hood line back in place. Okay, that's the grill in. I think it looks pretty good. It does make it look a little bit classier. I don't know, I'll let the owner decide that. I like the gray inserts. I think this is from the E350 non-sport, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but I like the gray inserts. Okay, let's continue. Next, I'm going to remove the strut to be able to replace the spring. There is a bracket over here, plastic, that holds this lines in place, and it's held by a zip tie-like tie, and it's missing. And this one is actually out of place. It's supposed to be hooked into here, but it was just sitting on the side. So whoever worked on it forgot to put it back in. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the sway bar bolt, which is on this side, and then there are 3 bolts that secure the strut to the hub, to the knuckle. I'm going to remove those as well. The sway bar link is held by one 18mm nut. I'm going to break it loose, and then I'm going to hold it in by a T40 and then remove it with the 18mm. Next, I'm going to remove this E18 bolt that goes over here, and there's a 21mm that goes on the opposite side. Next, there are 2 E14s that hold the strut to the knuckle. I'm going to remove those. Before I remove the 3rd bolt, there's a connector over here on the bottom of the strut that I need to remove. I'm going to use a pick tool to help me to undo the connection. The little tab, there you go. And just move it to the side. Here's the 3rd bolt. I'm going to remove. Okay, that's out. So the strut is loose at this point. It's just connected to the top only. I do have one jack stand over here to support this knuckle with the brake, just to make sure it's not pulling on anything. Now I can go on top of the car and remove the bolts from top. I'm going to go ahead and remove these 3 E12s. I have to make sure I hold the strut from the bottom so it doesn't fall down. Okay, next I have the strut on the table along with spring compressing tool. There's a small cap over here that I have to remove. It holds down the nut, hides the nut over here. Let's see, what is this? 21? Yes, it's a 21. I'm not going to release it yet because I have to compress the spring, and to do that I need to use this tool. Okay, that's pretty good. To release the 21mm slowly. Okay, that's out. Going to leave it in the same direction, so when I put it back it'll be easier. Now I can release the spring. You can remove the pad to reuse it. This spring is pretty tall on this car. The original spring is much shorter. It's about way shorter. Okay, let's see. This one shouldn't really need too much compressing. The writing typically faces up, so gotta make sure it's the same side. And position the pads where it was on the previous spring. There is a stopper over here, so you can't go past that mark anyway, but you kind of want to pay attention where you're putting it. I think the spring is so short that I can put this on by finger. It's not all the way out, but if I press on it slightly, I should be able to put the nut on by hand. Okay. Turn it with a tool slowly. That's it. The cap back on. Now this one is ready to go back on the car. I'm on the passenger side of the car, and this is the only way this top portion will fit in here. You have to kind of look at where the holes are, and it is 2 holes against the body of the car, and one that is the farthest away is towards the outside of the car. So I am going to turn it a little bit because my sensor on the bottom doesn't line up very well, but I can do that after 2 and rotate the spring like this. Now I'm going to feed this in on top, and then I'm going to have to slide in the bolt from the top to secure it. one is in. Put another one. Okay, next I'm going to line up this knuckle on the strut and put in these bolts. First I'll put this long bolt that goes on top. That will be easier for me to guide it with that one. Okay, this one's in. Another two E14s at the bottom. These can be kind of tricky to line up as the weight is off of it, so you have to lift up the brake a little bit and then it should line up. Same on the other side. There we go. This one you don't have to tighten with the wheel on the ground, as there's no ball joint or bushing over here or anything like that, so tighten it all you want. Next I'm going to connect the connector over here. There you go. Then put on this bracket that holds the cables in place. Now to put the sway bar link back in place, I'm going to assist it with the bar a little bit to be able to push it in. Now I can tighten this using a wrench and hold it. Okay. So I need to tighten the bolts from top, and that should be it for this side. Okay, this side the spring is on. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Okay, everything in the front is on, tightened. I also put in zip ties on both sides as the old ties were cut off. Now I'm going to put on the wheels and then move on to the back. Okay, the front springs are done. The car does sit a little bit lower. It's not too low. The springs are new, so I'm expecting this to settle and go down slightly more than this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the back as well. Okay, here is the rear link that is located here. I'm going to go ahead and pop it off this place, and then I'll put in the new adjustable link. Passenger side is off. Now the driver's side. These are kind of tight. Be careful when you're removing, not to break the sensor. Okay. This one is out as well. Okay, both links are adjusted to the minimum height. I'm going to put this on at this height and I'll readjust it as needed. I know this owner likes his cars low, so I'm going to do just that. Now the links are on. I'm going to start the car and see how low it sits and readjust accordingly if needed. Okay, the car went down and I think that's way too low, even for me, even for him, meaning. Okay, I'm going to readjust it a little bit higher. So this is the height I got it adjusted to. I think it is a little bit higher than what he wants, but the front sits pretty high still. Once in 2-3 weeks it goes down a little bit, we can readjust the rear accordingly. I think for now it looks pretty perfect as is. I would say it looks much better than it did before. Alright, that's about it for this car. I replaced the grille, the springs, the lowering links, as well as the side markers. So next I'm going to do an oil change. I'll do it tomorrow as it's pretty late today already. And thank you for watching. Please comment, like and subscribe. There are more videos to come.